if nothing serious happens to Nigeria this time around to stop this killing, to solve the Nigerian problem, it means that our solution will not come in this way again. They know that they stand their ground in Nigeria. That is why they are doing these things. They are not even afraid of the Americans. That is what it means. They are not even afraid of the Israel. And they keep doing what they are doing. Oh my God. Now, I don't know what is giving these people the mind to be doing what they are doing. Upon all the things that are going on now in the social media, the involvement of the US, the Israel, yet these people are still killing. I saw this video and I thought it's an old video. But until I saw the second one from the same background, the same scene, I know that this thing just happened 2 days ago. The killing of people. Oh my God. What is the United States, the Israel, what are they still waiting for? We have downplayed, as in people have not given enough publicity to the evil that is happening in Nigeria. I think that is one of the major problems that made this thing to be to this extent. How can we be joking with human lives? Anything we are doing and it involves killing. Killing. Oh my God. That one is out of hand. Completely.
There is an insecurity problem in Nigeria, which Nigeria should work hard to eliminate completely. You do it through catching the sponsors. Then they should stop playing politics. Can't you see the hand of karma in what is happening? Buhari and Tinubu, they led a delegate to America to report insecurity of Nigeria to America during the Jonathan's regime. Can't you see karma? And now they are screaming, opposition, opposition. Opposition what? Opposition power on there. Opposition.
Stop it. Were they not the same people that make and match during Goodluck? That Goodluck cannot handle the insurgent, that they can handle the Boko Haram. But today they are on the seat. Why didn't they manage it? They have an intent. That's genocide. To wipe us Christians.
Let me quickly quash another lie we tell. And I've been hearing that lie a lot in the security circle. The reason why we don't want to go in there and fight these bandits and recover these people is to avoid collateral damage. It's a lie. I'll remind you, 2020, an American, Walton, was arrested by a bandit group or terrorists, a bunch of terrorists. 6 of them, they took him. The Americans contacted the same Nigerian government. They got intel about where he was. They brought in Naval SEAL into this country, conducted an operation, killed 6 of the terrorists, evacuated the man, took him to the American embassy in Niamey in Niger, from there en route to America. President Trump went on the air and bragged about it. Our own, we never see the bandits being killed in the rescue. You heard what Professor Bolaji Akinyemi said that day. When we did everything and we're ready for the Americans to be able to fight Boko Haram, all of a sudden, as regards the Chibok girls, we saw that the gas mask, terrorists were already wearing them. The gas mask they were supposed to get. So who is doing the infiltration? And this pattern is...
But I strongly believe that this time around, God's hand is in this, our situation. Something good, something reasonable is going to come out of it. If this country is not divided, if Nigeria is not divided, at worst case scenario, let there be regional system of government. Simple. People who control their region, have their own security, everything.
Who respect me so much. You know who has been counting on me? Before I came here, before I came to the United States about 2 years ago, I had a Thanksgiving in Yerota on January 9th of 2023, where it was a family Thanksgiving, and I used the occasion to raise funds for the building of the house of the parish priest and the fencing of the house. In that Thanksgiving, the person who read the first reading was killed. The person who who took the responsorial psalm was killed. The person who took the second reading was killed. The choir mistress that day was killed. 4 members of the choir were killed. That's how they've depopulated us. Depopulated us. They've achieved their mission. Today, as I speak, on Thursday. Hello, everyone. So, the time in Nigeria is quite 7 hours ahead of my own time in Oklahoma in the United States. Every day, almost every day, I wake up here. I do see messages left in my WhatsApp, in my Messenger, my SMS, my emails about people killed, Christians. So in Nigeria, almost every day, an average of 10 Christians are killed, most especially in the Middle Belt, by Fulani Islamist terrorists and other Islamist terrorist organizations. And incidentally, they are achieving their aims. Their aims is to depopulate us because they give birth like pigs, like goats. You see a very poor guy giving birth to 30 children, having 4 wives, 3 wives. Some of us who are even better to do, we have just a wife and 2 kids. But a wife and 1 kid, these guys will just have 3, 4 wives and give birth to 50 children. So they populate like pigs, like goats, and then you just give birth to 1 and 2. Then they'll come all of a sudden and kill all in your entire genealogy. And so they've been achieving their aims of depopulating us and then occupying our lands. Silently, they've been doing that, and they are achieving it because they have the support of their elites and their oligarchs who are in government, in the security architecture of Nigeria, in the federal government of Nigeria, in the state governments, and in the business class, and most especially in the traditional institutions, starting from the Sultanate, the Caliphate, to the Emirates. Now, if I go to Irota, over 50% of the young guys I knew while growing up, my peerage, they're all gone. If I go to Irota today, I won't see Osuja Ikpakia, my cousin, and his son. I won't see my cousin, Msutezi. I won't see Uncle Dendi. I won't see pretty Godo that when she see me, she'll come and say, oh, I want to say senior, and greet me and pass. I won't see Josue Shinku. He calls me with my surname, Uto. I say, where is my older one? I won't see the likes of Matthew Yomba, who respect me so much, who has been counting on me. Before I came to the United States about 2 years ago, I had a Thanksgiving in Yerota on January 9th of 2023, where it was a family Thanksgiving, and I used the occasion to raise funds for the building of the house of the parish priest and the fencing of the house. In that Thanksgiving, the person who read the first reading was killed. The person who took the responsorial psalm was killed. The person who took the second reading was killed. The choir mistress that day was killed. 4 members of the choir were killed. That's how they've depopulated us. Depopulated us. They've achieved their mission. Today, as I speak, on Thursday, this is January 21st, about 7 people were killed in Kuru. 7 Christians, just like that. And 2 people were killed in Gwe West in Benue State, and 2 people were killed in Kwande, and several others were killed in Taraba as I speak. So an average of 10 Christians are killed every day. They are depopulating us. Many of our villages are left desolate. They are occupying them. More than half of my council ward of Neve is in their hands. And goodness, the Nigerian government is complicit. And our leaders in Benue State are also complicit because they care more for political relevance. Not just Benue State. Nasarawa State has always been in their hands. They've always planted a proxy. The governor of Nasarawa State is one of theirs. He is not an indigenous of Nasarawa State. He didn't even win the election. He was forced on Nasarawa State to protect his interest. And that is why he named the airport in Nasarawa State Odman Danfodio Airport. Odman Danfodio had nothing to do with Nasarawa State. He was a jihadist, a bloodthirsty cannibal who has been eating flesh and sucking blood of human beings. But the airport in Nasarawa State was named after him. The message was sent long time ago. But we don't have leaders who could defend us in the middle belt of Nigeria, starting from Benue to Plateau to the same Nasarawa to southern Kaduna to southern Zamfara, southern Katsina, Taraba, etc. It's so unfortunate. We are going. Okay. So no matter what they plan with the United States, we'll always tell the United States the truth about what's happening. We'll insist. And let me tell you, the time will come that we will not even care about anybody else. We'll take it up by ourselves, to stand for ourselves. For long, they've been using the military and other security agents to disarm our people and to leave us vulnerable for attacks. They've succeeded. But there's always time for everything. There's time for backlash and for pushback. We'll get back our territories. And for the sake of those of our peers, our siblings, our relatives, our kinsmen who have been killed by these dear demons, we'll fight back so that their souls can rest in perfect peace. Time is coming for all these things. But we always want to give this warning so that when the time comes, they will know that we've said it long before it came. It can't continue like this. It can't.
We cannot continue like this. It's not possible. Every day you wake up in that country, somebody is going down. Family of six. White hats. The only thing they have committed is because they are Nigerians. Family of six. Is that the country we want to be? Is that the country? Every day you wake up for the past, everything from when Buhari was in power to date, and we are not talking about the Chibok girls. Anytime you wake up in Nigeria, people are dying. What do they want? What do they want from us? They came with Muslim tickets. The Southern has never protested against the Muslim ticket. The Muslim ticket flew. Today in the Aso Rock, we have 2 Muslims ruling that country. If we were Christian, the air would have let loose. Mother Keke was flushed down. Not even half of what the bandits are doing right now. We cannot continue like this in this country.
We are here live in Kuru, a village called Kuru, Jos Plateau State, Nigeria, West Africa. An incident occurred over the night.
They have earmarked this place for terrorists to take over Plateau. And that's why the terrorists are doing what they are doing. If to say we are to receive help, we are the first vulnerable people to receive help. Because people will come from the far north to come and attack us. and the remnants are here. And many that are relocating from the far north, they are coming to the Middle East. And this is what we are passing through. That's why I'm saying I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here with my people. If they will kill us, let us kill them all. Because we cannot just keep quiet. And they don't want the world to know. That's why the Nigerian government don't want the world to know what is happening to us in Plateau. They don't want us to make recording. No. We'll record everything. Nobody will stop me from recording what is happening in my heart. Nobody. After all, they say there's no genocide. Why are they afraid of recording? If there's no genocide, let them allow the world to see that there's no genocide.
The Benue governor says no genocide. The priest.
And that is why they are working together. It's a synergy of connection to please Islamic people. Because they know how their account is being full by money sponsored from the Middle East. Arab nations are pumping money into Nigeria. And they buy their ways with the 9 million for lobbying a company in America. And I thank God, God has answered my prayer. It's the secret of what is happening. And look at us, we are going for these people. Reverend Father,
Now,
Well, I don't know what is giving these people the mind to be coming out boldly to carry out all this jihad operation. Are they not afraid of dying? On what grounds? Probably they have been brainwashed to the extent that death is nothing to them. They will be happy to even die. I think that is what they are doing. They have brainwashed them to do anything to ensure that they kill. The more they kill and the more promises that they will get after life. That is the way they push them to do these things. Well, I just, glad that there will be a planned protest in February in all Biafra land. But we are yet to be sure of what really is happening. But just for information purposes.
Next thing we see is hearing Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. The next thing, sporadic shooting all over with AK-47, rocket launcher. Only few are bullet wounds, but many are swords. By swords, they follow from one house to another. With all the killings, they came out. Why didn't they stop it? Were they not the same people that make and march during Gulok? That Gulok cannot handle the insurgent, that they can handle the Boko Haram. But today they are on the scene. Why didn't they manage it? They have an intent, that's genocide, to wipe us Christians in the north, in the south, in the south. Look at what is happening in Kwara today. Go to Gwaza area, on top of the mountains. You will see Boko Haram occupy the villages, the towns that are on top of the mountain in Gwaza area. They were all born in that church. They packed their ashes, as ashes, the corpse, and they were pouring it inside the DC. It was just running down, like charcoal, going down. And you expect me to say there's no genocide?
Guys, this is a US delegate who came to Nigeria to do investigation as regards to Christian genocide in Nigeria, and based on her investigation and research so far, she has a shocking discovery and revelation that even we in Nigeria don't know what is happening, that the government and the mainstream media covered up. Help me tap on that, share this video. Igbos are being vindicated gradually. Right now, it's no longer a Mekuma balance, the screwdriver that's giving intel to US. Now the US delegate herself has a lot to say as regards to Christian genocide in Nigeria. Help me share this video and listen to her.
Hello, friends. Guys. I'm here to plead with you to help us save the missing in Kajuru in Nigeria. 167 Christian lives are in imminent threat of extermination in Nigeria. Government officials are covering up an attack that took 167 Christians captive into what I call the open-air Auschwitz death camps that operate in the Rijana forest near to Nigerian military installations. On Sunday, 3 churches in Kajuru County, Kaduna State, were attacked in a simultaneous coordinated assault. I'm Dee Dee Laugesen, president of Save the Persecuted Christians. I am appalled at news of the official denials of the attack and call on Western media to move quickly to untangle the lies and expose the truth. There is no time. A local village leader initially told the BBC a coordinated church attack had occurred in a village of about 1,000 people, and nearly 200 were missing. No deaths were reported. But when county and security officials arrived, suddenly the story flipped. Outsiders and journalists are barred from the area, and the entire event is actively being swept under the rug. I have spoken with Adara Christians, my friends, in Kaduna, who know the truth and have confirmed the attack, but cannot speak out as it is too dangerous. These precious innocents, 167 remaining in captivity, are now at risk of mass murder. They cannot be freed by ransom, or they will unravel the deceit. It is the duty of the journalists to get the facts. Many Nigerian officials are complicit. They profit massively from the industry that is kidnapped for ransom. They are protecting their profits and funding terrorism. Entire Christian communities have been hauled off into the Rijana hostage camps. Even more have been bankrupted by the evil scheme. This is how genocide occurs. Now is the time. This is the moment. Expose the Fulani militia atrocities occurring daily in the Rijana camps. President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Honorable Mark Walker, Secretary Rubio, Reps Riley Moore, Chris Smith, Bill Huizenga, and Marlon Stutzman and Senator Cruz don't believe the lies. Save Kajuro's missing. And please pray for these 167 souls. The deceit, the lies, it must end. Genocide is happening against Christians in Nigeria. Thanks for listening.
Yes, my people, I don't see what can stop Nigeria division, or at least regional system of government. People are crying up and down everywhere. Christians are being targeted. Okay, now this one is so that Americans will see that nothing they happen, that we full ground, we can do anything we want. And let us not forget that the bird that is dancing on the road, something is beating drum nearby. These people cannot just be doing this thing just like that. If it's one riffraff or one, non-entity that is sponsoring this thing, they know that they stand their ground in Nigeria. That is why they are doing these things. They are not even afraid of the Americans. That is what it means. They are not even afraid of the Israel. And they keep doing what they are doing. Oh my God.
And in Nigeria, we're annihilating terrorists who are killing Christians. We've hit them very hard. They've killed thousands and thousands of Christians. What's that all about?
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
Moses, have you seen any Christian group that have kidnapped any Muslim girl because of her faith? Yes, we kept quiet. Have you talked? Did you say anything? Somebody woke up one day, Shekitanshi, and told her that Tinubu's wife should be killed because she's a Christian. That God told him to kill Tinubu's wife. I'm talking of provocative statements that can cause problems. Yes, we kept quiet. Moses, did you read that? Did you say anything? Is it not hard to show tolerance?
Okay.
So why can't our Muslim brother do the same thing?
Sorry.
So that Nigeria will live in peace.
Before we come, sorry please. I want you to land on your thoughts.
Yes, then they do the same thing. And say whether this place whether America will even look at us, not to talk of placing it on CPC. That's what we are saying here. It is because of the actions and statements of leaders that have caused the problem. They should not deny it. Yet they still want to blame us for what they have caused. They still want to blame us to Moses. How do you take that? Is that not an insult? Right. You are talking of America insulting, but you insulted us. When you told us that, or said we agree with the bandits, there will be no peace in Nigeria. Moses, can you beat that? And because of this statement, that's why Saudi Arabia could not tolerate you. They declared you persona non grata. Saudi Arabia, the seat of Islamic Caliphate. They could not tolerate you. But here, you tell us all manner of things, you do all manner of things, and you get away with it.
All right, from what is happening, you can see that people are helpless. Nigerians are helpless. Not even the government can defend them. You can see the nonchalant attitude of the government and what is happening in the country. If the government is nonchalant, can these things continue to happen like this? If it is a government that so much loves the citizens, if this thing happen 1, 2, 3, they are supposed to checkmate it. Yes, there could be terrorist attack in anywhere in the world, but it doesn't happen consecutively like that. Once you will hear something happened. But this one is on daily basis. It is happening, and nothing serious is being done about it. Americans have the capacity to do this for Nigeria, and not even when the Israel is involved in this. So we have double opportunity to get this problem solved this time around. People are hopeless now. People are fed up with the system. People are tired of what is happening in this country. So we are begging. People are begging. Everybody's talking about Biafra, that Biafra is the solution. Not even regional system of government. So this time around, we are hoping that something good, tangible will come out from this, so that the Christians will have their peace.
Let me quickly quash another lie we tell. And I've been hearing that lie a lot in the security circle. The reason why we don't want to go in there and fight these bandits and recover these people is to avoid collateral damage. It's a lie. I'll remind you, 2020, an American, Walton, was arrested by a bandit group or terrorists, a bunch of terrorists. 6 of them, they took him. The Americans contacted the same Nigerian government. They got intel about where he was. They brought in Naval SEAL into this country, conducted an operation, killed 6 of the terrorists, evacuated the man, took him to the American embassy in Niamey in Niger, from there en route to America. President Trump went on the air and bragged about it. Our own, we never see the bandits being killed in a rescue. You heard what Professor Bolaji Akinyemi said that day. When we did everything and were ready for the Americans to be able to fight Boko Haram, all of a sudden, as regards the Chibok girls, we saw that the gas mask, terrorists were already wearing them. The gas mask they were supposed to gas. So who is doing the infiltration? And this pattern is repetitive. The question is, when next will it happen? And when it happens next, it's still going to be the same modus operandi. The government will never hear that in a rescue operation, they get these people killed. Every effort to get these people killed, they stop it. President Buhari, the first thing he did when he came into power was he stopped that agreement that the Jonathan government had with mercenaries. So you see, while we deceive ourselves with the false illusion that yes, they are back home, what were the terms and conditions? What did we lose? We lost the fear of the state, because the state is supposed to have the autonomy of violence. If there's any non-state actors that has more violence than the states, then go back to section 14, subsection 2. The protection and the security is hampered. Then what happens? The state has broken its social contract with the people. And I have a premise to call for the resignation of the president. So I think I've made that point clear. So while we celebrate, yes, but there's also shame. Egmi is coming on us gradually. Ayo, let's time travel If we were at this point in time in the 80s when the Metisani riot happened, and you read about the prowess of a military general called Muhammadu Buhari that chased this Metisani people into Chad, that was the height of the Nigerian army. But juxtapose that with today, and if they tell you that the national security advisor of a country will be that one giving assurances to families of those that have been kidnapped that their children will come back home while they have negotiations and romance with this criminal. The first question that you will ask yourself is, what happened to the Nigerian states? The second question you'll ask yourself is, are these the vestiges of a failing state? So my question today is to the security architecture, what happened to Nigeria? Are these the vestiges of a failing state? That we now go to beg to get our people rather than show military might. If you go back to the Nigerian Constitution, Section 40 subsection 2, about the sole responsibility of government being to provide security for lives and property, there is something we as Nigerians do in exchange for government to do that. We surrender our sovereignty to the government in a bid for the government to protect us. So it's a social contract. If you read Jean-Jacques Rousseau, what do you do for me that will make me do something in return for you? We have surrendered our sovereignty, and we in turn expect the government to protect us. And that's why when we collect salaries and they remove payee taxes from our salaries, we are paying all of these taxes because we expect them to be able to do something in return. But when they now fail in that responsibility, then there's a failure in the social contract. And when there's a failure in the social contract, people can actually call for the resignation of the president of the country. Because there's a failure in the social contract. So, whatever it's worth, despite the fact that we can celebrate on behalf of those that have come back home, let's not forget that there's been a failure in the social contract President Tinubu promised us. So it's not amiss when people call for his resignation. And let's stop being sentimental. It's not the end of the world. If we call for President Tinubu's resignation, heaven will not fall. It's for him to double up.
It is in this country that Nnamdi Kanu was abducted, and I acted for Nnamdi Kanu. And we have gotten a judgment in his favor. The government has been condemned to pay 10 million and taken to Nigeria and is in prison in Nigeria. It is in this country that Kizza Besigye was abducted. It cannot be right. If you look at international law, rendition is something that we should not allow. People should be allowed to exercise their democratic rights, even if we don't agree with them. So you see, there is a crisis. We are signatories to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. We are signatories to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and all the UN charters. Why do we create an environment where people who don't agree with us become our enemies? It is a competition of ideas, so that what is happening in this region is that fear is being used by those in political leadership as an instrument of paralyzing the population into silence.
Allah Tinubu regionalize this country. When you regionalize this country, I'm telling you a lot of this unaliving will stop. Do you know why I tell you it will stop? It will stop because the assignment that some people feel that they have a state, a country to conquer, will now be left with they have their self to conquer. Do you understand? And in regards to regionalization, the regionalization must be arrived at as a result of memorandum. You will not use the 6 geopolitical regions to regionalize the country. It must be as a result of referendum. Seriously, when you now regionalize it as a result of referendum. States that think alike, state that believes that bandits, terrorists should be pardoned, should go alike, and states that doesn't see it that way should also go their own way. I am telling you. But if you think you are a Superman, there's actually anything you can do in this regards, I am telling you sincerely, nothing. Nothing. The level of these people's commitment in regards ensuring they feel they have this supernatural conviction that the nation itself is an assignment for them to conquer, and not just the nation, the world at large. That is how these people think. And if you think there's anything you can do in this system to change it, you are a joker. Seriously, you are a joker. But at the end of the day, if you allow your personal greed, your selfishness, because you want to be recognized as the president, it has a time limit. Very soon you are gone now. Another person comes up next. And after that, it continues like that. At the end of the day, even people that think by virtue of they are wealthy, they are secured, at the end of the day, there's no security for anybody. Alright? While in the spirit of this, the only part that I strongly believe that no matter how this madness, it will never affect them, are the Igbo people. I am telling you, this madness can never get to Igbo people. And if I must tell you the truth, let me be a little bit biased this evening. I am telling you that I would rather contend with the madness or the problem of the Igbo people than contend with the problem of a divine religious ideology that is all about unaliving and retrogression. Sincerely. But gradually, the last time I checked, is touching your people too now. Now small you see. You never see the full blown. When you see the full blown now, by that time, you will not even be there. Here we say they are unaliving on the basis of religious sentiments. There's Christian genocide, and people are now getting momentum to come and say it doesn't exist. It's not true. It's not true. Well, the fact is, I believe it's actually not true at this point in time, because the thing never achieved its desired goal. Possibly by the time it has achieved its desired goal, the last man that will stand to say it's even true will no more be there. And possibly that will make sense to you.
You see, when you hear the truth, you know. But our problem is that because the people's mind, their mind is thwarted. They have a different agenda. That's why people don't listen to the truth again. All they want to hear is that the agenda of spreading their religion. That is the problem. So, but people are now congratulating this guy for saying the truth always. His Muslim brothers or his Northern brothers, they are congratulating him for saying the truth, because it's not all the Northerners likes. Many of them don't like what is happening. Many of them are tired of this Nigeria situation. Okay? So we are going to, wrap it up with this clip and call it a day.
Alright, so guys, the update says, breaking. It is time for the US to send forces to Biafra to set up a base. Ex-US President Foreign Policy Advisor, Dr. Walid Fez. So this is a tweet from an ex-cabinet of the US. What he said to Donald Trump recently is trending again. So he said to Donald Trump that this is high time you go and set a base in Biafra. Where this news gets more interesting is the fact that Biafra is now being discussed all over the world. Mazen Namdekano said it, that no get destroying Nigeria with the truth, and it is happening today. Yes, today I heard another update that is trending, though has not been verified, that Tinubu is making moves to dialogue with IPOB. Keta come and organ dialogue with IPOB. When pastors were warning him, I cannot count how many pastors who gave him expo. See, it is high time you dialogue with these people.
Dialogue with these people. Release Mazen Namdekano. For 5 to 6 years, they've been warning this government, but how we pay deaf ear. Now keep aswa. Anyways, another tweet. I don't know how recent this tweet is, but it's from Donald J. Trump. The tweet said, self-determination is the sacred right of all free peoples. Self-determination is the sacred right. When something is sacred, you cannot joke with it with anybody. That something is sacred. Very important to every free people. It is very sacred. It is not something you bargain. Self-determination is a right, which is a cause Mazen Namdekano has been fighting for years, and the reason why he's in detention. Thank you, Azwa. Before any dialogue with IPOB, first step to dialogue with IPOB is releasing Mazen Namdekano, compensating him, apologizing to him for all the insult, all the incarceration. You have to do the needful first before talking about dialoguing with IPOB. Yes, so you don't just wake up and say you want to dialogue with IPOB. I saw one northern public figure who also wrote something on his page. His name is Harun Agoro. He said, if an Igbo person is not good enough to be a president, then he is not good enough to be a Nigerian. Then let them go. Simple. Some northerners can be conscious. Some among them who knows the truth. If you don't want these people to, have a taste of the main powers in this country, let them go. For how many years now, Igbo be president of this nation? And Igbos are one of the ethnic groups in Nigeria that is even holding Nigeria. That is why they are scared of the division. That is why they are scared of the division. Buhari came and said we are dots in a nation. We are dots. When you 5%, allow that dots to go. Obroku. Why is this thing like this? Recently, northern leaders came out to hold a meeting that Nigeria should not divide and all that. Because the match I made yesterday, President Trump had a video that it is game over. Alright, so I'll leave you guys to watch another video here. I'm gonna watch this video. A lady who took Mazen Namdekano's case, Biafra case, to Israel Prime Minister in Israel recently, just yesterday. Watch the video. Can you refer this woman who could hear? It is happening already. Watch the video, share your thoughts. After that, I'll play you guys another video to watch. So many more updates that is actually making the headlines as of today, but the 21st day of January 2026. So enjoy the rest of the video, guys. I will be right back.
Hi and shalom everyone in Biafra land. This is me, Rachel Mosul, speaking from our parliament, Israeli parliament in Jerusalem, doing my weekly activity, my weekly commitment. As I promised, this is what I'm doing every week. I'm meeting another and more parliament members, getting more supporters to our cause, which is very important. It is not something that is done quickly. We have to be here every week to get more and more supporters, because these supporters are going to sign on our statement document, which will finally go to the specific committee. And here with me is Heidi.
Hello.
Our lobbyist. You all know
her.
Say shalom.
It's after a long day. She has energies. I don't know where she's bringing it from, but she's amazing. She's the young one. we had such a good day. Thanks God. Rachel is an angel. Everyone loves her. And you know, when she opens the door, no one can't say no. Everyone respect her, and we are working for you, and we are hoping that Namdi is gonna get out from jail soon.
Amen.
And
Amen.
we pray for Namdi, and we are
working for him.
Yes,
very hard.
Very hard, and one day, hopefully soon, everything is going to be better, and Rachel is here to look for it. We're doing it together.
Yeah, I'm disturbing her, I'm pressing her.
And I'm happy about that. I'm okay.
I will continue to press you.
Yeah.
You have to know that. Because
I like it.
Because Biafra is in my blood. It is my life. It is my blood. So I can't stop. I can never stop until I'm getting the result that I want.
And you get, because if you want something, no one cannot say no. So.
And we are moving forward. Every week that I'm here, we are moving.
Every week.
More and more forward.
Like every week, more and more steps. Pray for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ndewo. All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
America wants to divide Nigeria. The northern leaders are crying. They are yelling, saying that they will not allow it. Why won't you allow it? Is it because of the oil?
Well, I will leave you guys with this. If nothing serious happens this time around, then there will be no hope again for Nigeria. There will be no hope again. It means that Nigeria's solution will not come in this way again. If nothing serious happens to Nigeria this time around to stop this killing, to solve the Nigerian problem, it means that our solution will not come in this way again. Well, I want to leave you guys with this. Until I come your way next time, I'm still Chinedu.